Hey, how's it going, everybody? Podcast with Dweebs. My name is Code Dog, Coder Bugs, or my favorite, Big Dick Cody. Uh, it's been a minute since I've done this. I'm trying to get the hang of how to do a podcast and uh, just learn the ways to deal with certain things and how to. I mean, I've learned so much. I love this shit because you can talk about whatever you want. Um, we're also live on Instagram, so uh, I think I was a meth and heroin addict for 10 years, but I would have done anything. Um, I That's how I wanted to live my early days, and I think about 3 years ago, it got hard to where I was living homeless and just get anything for drugs. And I look back at those times now and I'm like, who the fuck was that goofball? Um, but I'm blessed and grateful for where I'm at, and it was hard. I still had days, but it was hard. But you just keep fighting. And but I tell you what, since I've been sober for how long that I've been sober for, I have found new passions. I love podcasting. I definitely, anybody ever wants to get on it with me, let's go. I got all the equipment. Um, Actually, this room is it's like soundproofed, so it's pretty dope. Uh, but it makes and the reason I say all this is because when I was in my addiction, I've always loved pro wrestling. I've always loved pro wrestling since Austin versus uh, Jake the Snake Roberts at King of the Ring. I think it was '96. Austin wasn't hot yet; he was still the ringmaster or whatever. But when he cut that promo after he won King of the Ring, saying you can talk about your Psalms, you can talk about John 3:16, Austin 3:16, just said I whipped your ass. Whoo, boy, man, I was sold. And I was only like 5 years old, 4 years old, and it's just crazy. The most over superstar of all time. I mean, to me, he's the GOAT. But um, so when I was in my addiction, I kind of fell off. I always loved wrestling. I just kind of drugs was more important. But now that I've been clean, I'm so heavy into it, and it's so great right now. It is the best wrestling I've seen in forever. And honestly, I know it sounds a little silly, but professional wrestling kind of saved me because it's the only thing that has stayed consistent with me in my life. And I've grown, I've changed, but I've always loved it. I feel like professional wrestling has saved me in a lot of ways. Um, but speaking of, tomorrow, it will be 1 o'clock in the United States. I'm sure it's 1 o'clock. Um, but it's Night of Champions. It's Night of Champions, baby. That gold. About to have a new world heavyweight champion. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, which I don't know what route they're going to go on that because both of them deserve it. But AJ's still on SmackDown and Seth is on Raw, but Seth is shooting a movie right now. So what are they going to give Seth the title that they promised us that would be defended like a real champion, or are they going to do what they're doing with Roman? You know what I mean? It's confusing. I don't. I used to hate Roman Reigns. I hated him. I hated him so much. But when he turned heel, I was like, oh man, this is what they're missing. Like in my opinion, I'm not trying to like get on Roman's dick or anything, but in my opinion, Roman is the greatest of all time of this generation. Now, the greatest of all time, in my opinions, would be Stone Cold Steve Austin, just because of all the merchandise sales and how much he saved WWF at the time. If you look over here, there's my man right there. But yeah, so I'm excited. because it's usually I don't get too excited for the Saudi Arabia shows. Yeah, look at that hair. But this card is stacked, and ever since Triple H has been in control, dude, it's so. I mean, there was a time where I couldn't watch a full 3 hours of Raw, and now it's like, okay, I can't wait till next Friday or next Monday. So yeah, it's just with how crazy the world is. That is my escape. Video games too, but pro wrestling is definitely my escape. But like I said, so I'm trying this podcasting out. If anybody wants to get on here, I can talk for days. But all right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Podcast for Dweebs. Subscribe.